Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're looking at all the new cards for the next expansion on Hearthstone, WitchWood. So, at least on the agent account right now, you can go to my collection, and you can go into crafting mode, and you can click here to see the WitchWood cards. Of course, they can't be crafted right now, so you have to click here on this box to see them. Last time we looked at the Shaman cards, this time we're going to look at the Warlock. But first things first, let me ask everybody to subscribe and click the notification bell if you'll be so kind. Thank you. First card we have is a 1-mana spell called Dark Possession. Deal 2 damage to a friendly character, discover a demon. Warlock as a class is always a little weird. You always end up hurting your own demons or hurting your hero. For 1 mana to deal 2 damage to a friendly character and discover a demon. It's probably better than the Warlock's hero power, which does 2 damage to the hero to draw a card. You do have the potential of running out of cards playing Warlock, so you might consider this. You might also consider this kind of card if you're going to play a Renounce Evil deck where you replace all Warlock cards in your deck with a different class of cards and they cost less. That is a big gamble, but the Renounce Evil deck is kind of fun, and it does potentially give you an advantage, particularly if you don't have great cards for the Warlock. So there's a couple of reasons why you just decide to use that card, but it's not blowing me out of the water or anything. Next, we have a 1 mana, 1 attack, 1 health demon class minion called the WitchWood Imp. It has stealth and a death rattle to give a random friendly minion +2 health. There's already a demon that has a 0 attack and I think it's 2 health and stealth, and at the end of the turn it gives +1 health to a random friendly character. I don't really see a reason why you'd want to play something like this. Like, giving it stealth doesn't really do too much. Having it die and giving health to somebody else does something, but it doesn't seem like it's that great of a bonus. There might be some tie-ins to playing demons. There might be a reason for that. I'd have to really think about playing this over any other number of 1 mana characters that would have more attack or more health in exchange for not having stealth or giving people health when it dies. Next, we have a 2 mana spell called Curse of Weakness. It's an echo card, which means it can be played in multiple instances. So you play it once and then you're given the option to spend another 2 mana to play it again. So if you had 10 mana, you could play it 5 times. It is Curse Weakness. Give all your enemies -2 attack until your next turn, which is better than a similar card that I believe the Warrior has that only reduces their attack during your turn, not your opponent's turn. So if you were to do this with 10 mana crystals and reduce people by 10 attack for 1 turn in which you could attack them and probably kill a lot of those minions without taking any damage to your minions, and then if anybody survived, them being unable to attack because they have 0 attack or too low of an attack, works rather well. So this may be one of the first demon Warlock cards that seems like there might be some strategy there. I've never really been too hot on trying to make Warlock decks, though. They seem to be very much based on some gambling, based on drawing cards, based on taking a lot of damage. And if you draw cards, you run the gamble of running out of cards. If you take damage, you run the gamble of lowering your health down to the point where the enemy can beat you. There's just a lot of gambling there. Next, we have a 3 mana, 2 attack, 4 health minion called the Dusk Bat. That's a beast class. No real reason to my head why you'd play a beast as a warlock. As a battle cry, if your hero took damage this turn, summon 2 1/1 bats. You probably could play this rather well in a warlock card, in a warlock deck. You're almost certainly going to take damage in a turn, particularly since you have the hero ability to draw a card if you hurt yourself for 2 damage. So on the 5th turn, you could use your hero ability, draw a card, take 2 damage, then play this and summon a 2/4 and 2 1/1 bats. I'm not sure exactly what the 1/1 bats are really going to do for you, but it works. So that is something to consider. Although there's probably something better to consider. In a weird way, the better thing to consider is probably not playing Warlock. Next, we have a 3 mana, 2 attack, 2 health minion called the Ratcatcher. It has Rush, which means it can attack minions. And has a battle cry to destroy a friendly minion. 1 second, I'm going to cough. Sorry, all this talking today, covering all these cards, is wearing down my voice. So 3 mana, 2 attack, 2 health minion called Ratcatcher. As a battle cry to destroy a friendly minion and gain its attack and health. I think there's a pretty similar card already like that. That is a demon, so I'm not sure why you specifically would want to play something that is just a generic minion over that demon. Maybe there's a reason, maybe there isn't. The only real thing, I guess, is it has the rush ability. Next we have a 4 mana, 3 attack, 6 health minion called the Blood Witch. At the start of your turn, deal 1 damage to your hero. Very typical type card for a warlock. Again, not a demon though, so it feels like you could make a demon deck and maybe get some cards that buff demons over playing cards that aren't labeled as anything. Also, I suppose you could have a witch class or a human class if you're just going to have witches be humans, and potentially have some buffs that work with that in the future. Ideally, that's what I want to see in Hearthstone, is I want to see every kind of minion classified as something, and some amount of cards synergize with them a little bit more to keep it interesting. Next, we have a 4 mana spell to summon 4 1/1 imps called the Fiendish Circle. There's really nothing to complain about this spell. It works pretty well, particularly for the Warlock. Summoning 4 1/1 imps without having to also take damage or spend extra amounts of mana is a pretty good deal. And imps are demons, so that works rather well too. Next card we have is a 5 mana, 4 attack, 6 health beast minion called the Deathweb Spider. Battle cry: if your hero took damage this turn, gain lifesteal. Again, there is definitely a good chance that your hero will take damage in any random turn, so this would work good on, say, a 7th turn play. It's like they're trying to introduce a new way to play Warlock, where you have beasts that gain abilities because you took damage. I like that as a concept. It certainly expands Warlock to a new way to play Warlock. Unfortunately, even if the last 2 cards are in that same vein, that where they're beasts that get some kind of bonus if you take damage, it's still not going to be enough, I don't think. Next, we have a 6 mana, 3 attack, 7 health legendary minion called Glinda Crowskin. minion in your mana, minions in your hand have echo, which this certainly changes things quite a lot, but I'm not sure exactly how much it really is going to change things. You can see they're even talking about if you had a 0 mana wisp, you could play 6 of them while this is on the field and fill your field with like 1/1 attack wisps. I'm not sure there are too many Warlock cards that do damage to your enemy hero or buff demons or do anything at all. So you're going to have to really build a deck around this card. And I think you might be able to do it, but it's not going to come easy. You're going to have to really think about, does every single card that isn't this card in my deck have a good outcome if it has echo? And the final card we have is a 7 mana, 4 attack, 4 health legendary minion called Lord Godfrey. Battlecry, deal 2 damage to all other minions. If they die, if any die, repeat this battlecry, which almost certainly means that it will get repeated over and over again until nearly everybody, if not everybody, is killed, and just leaves you with a 4/4. So it's almost as good as a board clear spell for 7 mana plus a 4/4 minion, which is interesting, I suppose. I do want to take a moment though, and I think more than anything else, like this was a new card that was added that's kind of not worth the effort. Like for 8 mana you could just destroy all minions. For this you could summon all the friendly demons that died this game. Here, Mal'Ganis was the one I was thinking about. He's a 9 mana, 9 attack, 7 attack demon card. Your other demons have +2/+2. Your hero is immune. If you could play this with Echo, that would be rather interesting. Although, in all actuality, I guess you could never play this with Echo because it's too expensive. In fact, any card above 5 mana without reducing the price has no benefit of gaining Echo. So that moves you down to starting with something like this, where you can play 2 of those. And see, that's where it starts to, when you start to think practically, like which cards could I really run multiple times with Echo? If they gained Echo, it's not as high as you think. It's like you could put a bunch of these on the field if you're playing wild, and then they would deal 2 damage to a random non-mech minion, and that would be kind of cool. That's a really old card too, I just showed you. If you play something like this, which is more typical, a demon, it's going to do 2 damage to your hero, so you'd potentially get 5 of these on the field if you had Echo, but then you'd also do 10 damage to your own hero. You could do discard, you could do lifesteal. Let's see. Suppose if you did this and echoed this, you could remove 5 cards from your opponent's deck, which would be slightly interesting, but not really. It's probably not going to win. You could do something like that. and probably fill the field with these if they had echo. Yeah, so I'm getting a little diverted here, but the point is, you're gonna have to find some kind of neutral card that makes sense. Some kind of neutral card that costs 5 mana or less that really would benefit from having echo to play something like this. Otherwise, it feels like it's gonna be this super powerful, useful card, and it just isn't. And otherwise, for the Warlock cards, they're all kind of meh. The most interesting thing were these two that get something if you take damage. And Zap is no, that not Zap, but Dark Possession's kind of interesting. A couple more demons to play in case you get a daily quest to play demons, which you very possibly won't. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. Stay tuned if you're watching live. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of your videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. When you subscribe to my channel, make sure you click that notification bell. If you want to support me even further than doing all of that, gift me a game on Steam. That helps a lot. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.